Hey y'all, it's Fran with Into the Marvelous Light. I'm out in nature today. I'm out in the daylight, out in the light of day, free from the darkness of a narcissist. Isn't it wonderful to be out in the open? Out in the open range, free as a bird. If you are new to my channel, I want to take the time to say hello. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. I don't take any subscriber for granted. I am most grateful, most thankful that you thought enough to lift your finger and press that subscribe button. Thank you for joining our family of marvelous lights. If you have gone through narcissistic abuse, if you are looking forward to healing and learning, growing and flourishing, if you are looking to share the light of the love of the Lord Jesus Christ, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you are an empathic soul, a very loving person, 9 times out of 10, you gave the narcissist several chances. Several chances to do right by you in the marriage, several chances to get themselves together, several chances to change their ways. In my case, it was 14 years worth of chances and 3 different attempts to divorce him. On the 3rd try, I was able to successfully and legally divorce from the narcissist. And what happened to the narcissist on all 3 of these attempts? How was he? What was his attitude like? What kind of person did he become? What kind of mask did he wear? Let's talk about that. Despite how cool they try to be and the fact that they don't display much emotion, when you shake the devil off, the devil will be shooken. And it's no different with the narcissist. The narcissist is going to be completely shooken when you get ready to shake them loose. And they're not going to show this shookenness to you all at once. They're going to gradually unravel. It's going to be a process. So the very first time that I filed for divorce from the narcissist, I was kind of in a haste. I really wanted to get it done very quickly. I was super tired of him, tired of, getting punched, tired of being talked down to, cussed out, and tired of my husband being out of the house all the time, leaving me and our son at home alone. And so I filed for divorce online, and I had the divorce papers FedEx to our address, addressed to the narcissist. When the narcissist got the package, he started to display pridefulness. He got the package, he looked through the papers, and he came up to me and he said, "What is this?" And he got in my face, and he proceeded to tear the papers up and put them on the floor. So not only are they prideful, but they're also calling your bluff. You may also see some anger from the narcissist during this time too. For some reason, the lawyer or the paralegal put a little sticky note on the papers that said, "Sign here," and then they put a little smiley face under that, and that really ticked the narcissist off. He was extremely angry. I had a copy of the documents, and I tried to get him to sign them, and he absolutely would not sign them. If you've ever been with a narcissist, then you know if you do anything outside of what they desire for you to do, you will be punished. And so this increased anger will be there as your punishment. Whatever the things that you were dissatisfied about, they will intensify in those things. So they're going to stay out even later at night, okay? They're going to ignore you even more now. They are angry with themselves, but they won't tell you that. They'll just take their anger out on you. Internally, they are unraveling and not really sure what to do with themselves. They are thinking of master plans, literally. I had another copy of these particular set of divorce papers, and I tried to file them through the courts. The local courts would not accept them. They were written out of California, and my local court system was like, "We don't like this language. It's not properly done. We're not going to let you file here." And I was crushed. I was devastated. I cried like a baby. So with the narcissist's increase of anger and all of that, they will start to get in your face. And again, this is part of that unraveling. And so the narcissist one day got in my face. He was holding our child, who was 4 years old at the time. And the narcissist punched me with one arm, with the child in the other arm. And that was the day I decided to file for a second time. That time, I got with a domestic violence attorney who took my case pro bono, and I was most grateful. Also, I was able to have a sheriff serve the papers to the narcissist this time. I could prove to the court system that he was indeed served the papers. So with each attempt to divorce the narcissist, I became increasingly intense in my efforts to get away from him. I got more and more serious each time. So with the restraining order, the narcissist was ordered to leave the marital home, and he went to go live with his sister. This really crushed the narcissist in several ways. Their public persona that they try to put up was no longer there. And he began to unravel, and he began to get quite pitiful. Even though he had this pitiful look on his face, he looked really sad and depressed and all of these things. It wasn't real. I say that because, if the narcissist did not want to lose his family, if he did not want to be outside of the marital home, then he wouldn't have been doing a lot of the things that he was doing. And as soon as he got a chance to do them again, he would do them again. Hence being, in a situation where we're about to be divorced the second time around. So he's telling his family that he's just so distraught that he can't see his wife and child. This is the story that he's giving them, but he's not giving them the story of his behavior that led up to that. So here you will see the narcissist play victim. My goal was to have the narcissist out of the house with that restraining order until the divorce was final. And I was hoping to get a court date by the time that temporary restraining order had expired. So I go to court and try to get that restraining order renewed or extended, and I was denied, and I was devastated yet again. And here is where the narcissist will do their I've changed, but it's always going to be completely fake. Nothing is real about it. They're going to start off a little bit trying to do the things that you've always asked. They're going to start planning dates. They're going to even start going to church with you. I had the narcissist insist that we go to church after 14 years, insist that we go to church as a family. And it was short-lived. He only did that about 2 or 3 times, and then he quit. Another thing that he did was buy me flowers, which he hadn't done in the entire 14 years. The other thing that I insisted that the narcissist do was go to marriage counseling with me, couples counseling with me. And he would sit and pout through all the sessions, wouldn't say very much, didn't like for me to talk in there. And then finally I told him, you need to pay for the sessions and you need to keep up with the scheduling of the sessions. He didn't do so. So again, the narcissist is going to be doing lots of fake breaking with you. They are grasping at straws, trying to do everything that they can to change your mind and to get your mind off of divorce. So the last and final time that I attempted to file for divorce from the narcissist, I filed on grounds of cruel and inhumane treatment. This time I was able to secure my own attorney, and I paid my own legal fees. And the attorney drew up the divorce decree. This time the narcissist had his mommy look over the papers, and you have to remember that narcissists care all things about their image and how they look to the public. And they didn't like the fact that those papers were on the grounds of cruel and inhumane treatment. So his mom got a lawyer for him, and they began to talk to my lawyer, and he wanted the paperwork to be changed to irreconcilable differences. And I didn't have a problem with that. That would mean less fighting in court for me. During this last attempt for divorce, the narcissist is going to have several different things that they go through. They're going to put you on a guilt trip, first of all. They're going to tell you that you don't believe in the marriage vows. And this is what he told me. You obviously didn't take the marriage vows seriously because you don't believe in for better or for worse. If I cheated on you and did something wrong, you should just get past that and we should move on. We shouldn't just throw away the whole marriage just for that. These are the type of things that they will say to you to get in your head and to get you to change your mind. This is how manipulative they can be and how desperate they can be. With the guilt trip, and the narcissist will also say things to me like, you can't leave me. Why are you always trying to leave me, Fran? Do you have someone else? Are you trying to hurry and get rid of me so you can be with someone else? You ain't going nowhere and I ain't going nowhere either. One of the most shocking things that the narcissist said to me in his guilt trip was, I am not going to sign these papers. I am not going to let you go run off and find some Christian man who totes his Bible for you to submit to. You do not need that in your life. He had the nerve to say that to me. They're also going to do last-ditch efforts. They're going to ask you, oh, is there anything else I can do? Are you sure that we can't work this out? They're going to ask all those questions as well. None of it is sincere, and it's just an attempt to draw you back in. It's just manipulation. Again, they are grasping at straws. They are trying to do every little thing that they can do to turn the situation around. The rug has been pulled from underneath them. The very thing that they thought they had control over, which was you, is no longer. And they just don't know what to do with themselves. They become very, very petty as well. The narcissist had the nerve to utter out of his mouth that half of the house belonged to him. Now, this is someone that didn't work, didn't have, full-time employment anywhere, barely contributed anything to the household expenses, could not get a mortgage. Everything was on me. And he had the nerve to feel entitled to half of the house. He threatened to take the house from me, and he threatened to have me sell it and get half of the proceeds. But the Lord said otherwise. One time on his way out, he snatched the welcome mat from in front of the door and he took off with it. And I don't know what he thought he was doing with that. Whatever the Lord has for me is still going to be brought to my doorstep, no matter if you take the welcome mat or not. And you can take the welcome mat because you are not welcomed here anymore. Another thing that he did that was petty was he left his belongings at my home on purpose, out in the shed in the backyard. They always want to have that something there to come back for. Whether it's true or not, in their mind, they want to feel like they're leaving a piece of themselves behind for you. They're leaving a door so that they can come back. In a narcissist's mind, you will always be theirs. You are property. You cannot be disowned. Another way that they are petty is they will refuse to make child support payments, or they will neglect to pay them, or they will have an extreme delay in paying them. Another thing that they're going to do is they're going to sulk and pout. They're going to create distance. They're going to move to the man cave and stay there. They're going to go into hiding. You're going to barely see them. They're going to barely talk to you. They already have had other relationships, still actively in relationships throughout the entire marriage. So they have other things and other people to attend to, and they no longer try as hard to hide it at this point. So after the divorce was finalized, I noticed that the narcissist began to get extremely sensitive. I found out he was still monitoring my coming and going through the Ring camera system, and so I had to have his access turned off, and he got sullen. He didn't like that very much. Since he could no longer watch me on the Ring camera, he started to drive by my home. And I had this reported to me by several neighbors as well. They would see his truck ride down the street, turn around, and come back up the street. He was very interested to see if I had moved on, if someone had taken his place, if there was another car parked in the driveway. And they do these type of things because that's the type of person that they are. They've already moved on, so they would assume that you've already moved on. Since they are in the business of replacing someone before they leave, they thought you would be the same way. The narcissist won't be able to understand how you are leaving them without being interested in moving on to someone else. They don't understand that concept. They don't understand you leaving them for a peace of mind. They don't understand you leaving them for clarity's sake. They don't understand you leaving them so that you can heal. In the narcissist mind, it's going to always be about someone else. Someone else being better than them. Someone else that you are trying to replace them with, because that is the way that they operate. When you leave the narcissist, they will be left just as empty as they were before. They will feel defeated knowing that they weren't able to conquer you like they thought. With the narcissist, it's all about winning and losing, and they will feel like they lost. They will feel like they lost a game. That is how they treat life. That is how they treat a marriage. It's all a game to them. They don't take any of it seriously. Also, after the divorce, I saw the narcissist begin to be nasty, transparent. And this is when they finally admit to you their schemes and their plots. I had the narcissist tell me to my face that he pretended to be a character from a movie to make me fall in love with him. They will go on several attempts to make you angry. They will start jabbing at you and poking at you all over again. They will pick with you about any little thing, make arguments. They are also shaken to the point to where when you block their phone number, they have fits of rage. They get super, super angry, and they act like their feelings are super hurt. When you try to communicate with them through a parenting app or something similar, they can't take it. They cannot take that loss of control. They start telling you things like, I don't want another man around my son. And so they try to forbid you from taking your son to a professional barber because they can't handle the fact that they have lost that position in your life. So yes, your departure tore that narcissist up in more than one way. It tore them to the left and it tore them to the right. Tore them from top to bottom. It disrupted and tore up all of their plans that they thought they had for you. It tore up all of their plots against you. It tore up the life of misery that they thought you were going to forever be in. Your departure left the narcissist in complete devastation. They just cannot believe that you were able to defeat them, that you were able to resist them, that you were able to escape and get away from them. But they need to believe it because it happened. You are the truth that they must accept.